Hello everyone, and today we're going to be discussing how to write a thematic essay for global history regions. Many students seem to be having a lot of trouble with it. Why? You have to know your history, and you have to be able to organize your essay, which makes sense because, if you're planning to go to college, you cannot get far in college if you don't know how to organize your essay. And good news, it's very easy, and I'm going to show you how. A good way to pass your global history regions is to follow the three musts. Must number one, you must know how to organize your essay. Introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. A lot of people are having trouble with it, and they shouldn't. You have to know how to organize your essay. If you don't know how to organize your essay, you're not going to pass. It's simple as that. Second must is you must know your history, which is obvious. You will not be able to pass this part of the regions and the whole regions if you don't know your history. And third, you must follow directions for the thematic question. And if you follow those three musts, then congratulations, you have no problem passing the regions exam. What you're looking at here is the thematic essay question from June 2007. And oftentimes those questions get recycled, and they get reused. So some of the older regions questions can show up on the newer regions exams. I've seen that happen. And history is history. The bottom line is, if you know how to pass the June 2007 regions exam, you should have no trouble with, any modern regions exam. History is history. Okay, so let's begin. First thing we need to look at is theme. Oftentimes students use it as the first sentence of their essays, which is okay, especially if you're completely lost and have no idea how to start your essay. It's a start, but it's much better to formulate your own thesis, but we'll talk about it later. So it says here that often governments implemented policies in an attempt to change society. So when I'm looking at it, the first thing that I do is I look for keywords, which will make it easier for me to do this essay. So keywords here are policies and changing society. They will be the central focus of your essay. Task. Let's see. It's asking us to choose one example from global history when governments attempted to change societies. It's asking us to describe that change, explain why it took place, as well as one specific policy, and an extent to which this change was achieved. Okay, so you definitely need to know your history here. Let's see. Good news is they will give you suggestions on who to use. I will pick the modernization of the Russian military under Peter the Great. It's listed as westernization of Russia under Peter the Great, but in my essay I'm specifically going to describe the military aspect of it. And also another hint, it's telling us not to use communism under Mao Zedong or Deng Xiaoping. So don't use them and never use the United States in your essay. And you're not limited to these suggestions. So let's say you want to talk about someone else who's not listed there but who fits the questions that they're asking. For example, Adolf Hitler and his policies that led to the Holocaust. Could also be one of the choices, and you can talk about it. Introduction. Hello, my name is Mr. N, or at least that's how students call me. I have a master's degree in history and a good deal of experience teaching kids of various age groups. What did I just do there? Well, I introduced myself. I'm not Mr. C or Mr. L. I'm Mr. N. That was a good introduction. Now, a bad way to introduce myself would have been to be like, yo, 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 I'm the new teacher, yo. What's good? Open up your book, let's read those 20 pages, yo. Gee, you'd probably hate it if a teacher was to walk into your classroom speaking like this. This was a bad introduction. Similarly, in your introduction, you want to impress your reader. A bad introduction discourages a reader to pay much attention to the rest of your essay. So, you want to make sure you have a really good introduction. Let's begin. I will start by rephrasing the theme. Throughout history, many governments have implemented a variety of policies in order to change their societies. As you can see, it's not a big change from the theme, but many teachers prefer students to rephrase it in their own words. And you can never go wrong with throughout history, because it's history. If you ever stuck on a history essay, even if it's US history regions, you can use the phrase throughout history to begin your essay. It's a safe start to a history essay, and you can never go wrong with it. There are a variety of ways in which you can start your introduction. I'm just showing you a safe way to get started. Okay, here we go. This is my introduction. Throughout history, many governments have implemented a variety of policies in order to change their societies. One of those policies was the westernization and modernization of the Russian military under Peter the Great. Indeed, with his remarkable policies, Peter was able to transform the Russian military into a modern European power capable of competing with other European militaries and extending the Russian sphere of influence in the region. The impact of his policies is still felt in the world today. So notice what I did in this introduction. I started it with throughout history. You don't have to start it like that. It's just a generic way to start any history that I prefer to start any history essays, and you can never go wrong with it. And what I did here is I gave a preview of what my essay is going to be about, but I did not give too many details, and that's basically what your introduction should be like. You introduce your subject, in this case it's Peter, but I'm not gonna give away too many details. And this way a reader will wanna read a little bit more about what I have to say, I have to write about Peter. Body paragraphs, 5 to 7 sentences. Remember, it's always 5 to 7 sentences. I mean, sometimes it could be 4 if they're really, really good. Sometimes you can go up to 8, but generally you want to keep it between 5 to 7 sentences. I've seen some regions essays with 2 to 3 sentences as body paragraphs, and kids would often say something like, well, my teacher told us it's okay. Well, kids, I don't know who your teacher was and what they told you, but if they really told you that it's okay to write 2-sentence paragraphs, I would question their qualifications as professionals. You guys will be in college relatively soon, so you will have to get used to writing real academic essays the right way. 5 to 7 sentences. Okay, my first body paragraph will be about Peter the Great. So, Peter the Great, I would put in parentheses 1672 to 1625. It's not necessary to know exact dates to get a good grade on a thematic regions. but if you know it, it's good. But so, Peter the Great was a very influential leader in Russian history. One of his most important achievements uh, was the westernization and ultimately modernization of Russia. The modernization of the Russian military was one of his greatest accomplishments. Prior to his reforms, the Russian military consisted of mostly inexperienced villagers and amateur soldiers. From 1705, Peter instituted a compulsory long-term military service for all Russian men, which greatly increased the number of soldiers available for war, and by 1725 there were approximately 200,000 soldiers in the Russian army. The army was not only more numerous, but it also became much better trained and equipped. It was a modern European army in every sense of the word. This body paragraph will be about the Russian Navy. The modernization of the Russian Navy also played a huge role in Peter's reforms. Peter understood that Russia could never become a true modern European power with a weak navy. Under his leadership, the navy was able to expand its influence from a small Russian zone and into the Black Sea with the help of foreign military experts. By 1725, the Russian Navy had approximately 48 ships of the line and 800 galleys. Together with the Russian army, the Navy proved itself with its victory against Sweden and King Charles VII during the Swedish campaign to invade Russia in 1708 to 1709. This victory proved that Russia was no longer weak. Indeed, with modern European military, Russia was able to extend its sphere of influence in the region and establish itself as a truly modern European power. Conclusion. What is the conclusion? It's basically a summary of what your essay was about. So, Peter the Great was a truly influential leader in Russian history. Indeed, the modern Russian military owes its debt all the way back to Peter's westernization reforms. Peter modernized and increased the size of both the Russian army and navy. These changes transformed the military into a modern European power proficient enough to compete with other European militaries. This is why Peter the Great remains as one of the most important leaders in global history. So as you can see here, I summarized what my essay was about. I didn't give too many details, you don't have to do that. And I closed it out with a simple sentence, such as, this is why Peter the Great remains as one of the most influential leaders in global history. It's always a good idea to kind of, close your essay out with a final thought. That's one of the ways to do it. It just makes your essay look better. What you're looking at here is my creation. Is this a perfect essay? Oh, no. Obviously, I could improve it. But what my goal was with writing this essay is for you guys to understand the structure of the thematic essay. The introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. It's a short, simple, 4-paragraph essay, and it addresses all aspects of the task, which is precisely what the region's people want you to do. And as you can see, it's not that difficult. It's not rocket science. You can do it. If I was grading this essay that I just wrote, what would I give myself? Probably somewhere between 4 and 5. I mean, it addresses all the aspects of the task. Obviously, I could have improved on details, but that was not my real goal here. My real goal here for you guys to understand how to write a thematic essay. And I think we've done that. Here's some final tips for you guys. Never begin your essays with such statements as, in my essay, I'm gonna write about such and such. It seems simplistic, yeah, but some people do that, and that's a habit that oftentimes starts in elementary and in the middle school, and that should not be anywhere near your Regents exam, or this essay will be about. No, absolutely not. Get rid of them, both of them. And another one that often comes up, even among juniors, seniors, and other high school students, is in conclusion. There's nothing more than that teachers hate seeing than the statement, in conclusion. I mean, if it's your last paragraph, we know it's your conclusion. You don't have to tell us in conclusion. That's why, I'm not sure why some middle school teachers teach it that way. They shouldn't teach it that way. But that's where a lot of people pick up their habits of writing in conclusion. No, absolutely not. If I would see that on a Regents level essay, that's points off. And 5 to 7 sentences. That's the range where each paragraph, introduction, body paragraphs, conclusions, should be. And you can do it. It's a short 4-paragraph essay. Say can usually is usually right, but it all depends on the type of question that they're gonna ask you. Sometimes 4-paragraph essay is not enough. Sometimes you need more. Sometimes you need 5. Sometimes you need 6. In this case, 4 was enough. It depends on the type of question they're gonna ask you. Try 3 paragraphs is it's usually bad. You don't want to have your entire essay be 3 paragraphs. 4 paragraphs is usually okay, especially if they're gonna ask you a question like what we did there. And you can do it. You saw it. Simple. Good luck.